Hey everybody, today Rahdo runs through SUPERHOT the card game, which is based on the very popular video game of the same name, and I'm going to be doing a solo run through of this today because SUPERHOT the card game is on Kickstarter right now, and you might be deciding whether you want to back it. Now, you can do the little I in the top right corner screen or follow the show notes to learn more about the core game, but I'm just going to be using this little prototype I've got to give you an idea of how well it captures the action of its video game big brother. So, what do you get with the game? It's basically a deck of cards. This is, for all intents and purposes, a very small deck builder. My prototype anyway, comes with a few little cubes that you can use to keep track of progress on objectives. And so what do you get in here? Well, you got 4 different types of cards. You got bullets. These are your enemy. Bad guys with shotguns don't kill you. Their bullets will kill you. And so if at any given time I have 4 bullet cards in my hand, it's all over. I've been shot, and that's it. So you've also got a bunch of cards. This is the obstacle deck. This is basically gets shuffled up and will be presenting you with a series of obstacles to get past as you go through level after level. In fact, you have to survive through 3 levels to win the game. Although as part of setup, what you do is you take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1 bullet. You shuffle this bullet into these 9 cards somewhere. Then you put the whole thing at the bottom of the deck. And now we are ready to go. The obstacle deck is set up. And in the first room we're going to encounter, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 obstacles to overcome. 2 guys with shotguns, a pillar, a safe space, a table, and another safe space. Actually, so this isn't too bad of a start. We've got some safe spots to hide in. We've got a pillar to hide behind. And we got 2 guys coming after us with shotguns. All right. And over here is the draw pile for the rest of the obstacles. What else do we got? Well, I've got my starting deck. I start with 8 cards, 3 dodges, and 5 punches. Because at the beginning of the game, that's all I'm going to be doing, is dodging and punching, trying to stay alive as these more heavily outfitted guys come after me. Although if I can destroy them, then I can get their guns and turn the tables. So let's just shuffle this up. And I start with a hand of 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got a starting hand of 4 cards. And last but not least, we have the deck of objective cards. I've just got a few in this prototype. Apparently there's going to be a whole bunch more. And the way the game is set up, you have to win 3 levels. In the first level, you have to You have to complete 1 objective. In the second level, you have to complete 2 objectives. And then in the third level, you have to complete 3 objectives. And if you can survive long enough to do all that, you win the game. So in this first level, I am going to be trying to hold a card of each type in my hand. Okay, and you can see the symbols for the different type. I actually have a bullet in my hand along with a person card. As you can see, the little icons are down here. So if I can get into a situation, and that's going to be tricky because I only have 4 cards in my hand. Now, here's an interesting thing. When you see the objective you have to complete, if you decide, that's going to be kind of tough, you have the option to veto. And I don't know if I necessarily want to start with this. I'm going to veto this and try to get a little bit easier and of objective to go for right up front. Now, that doesn't mean this is gone. That just means this is going to be one of the 2 objectives I have to complete in the second level. When I get to the second level, I could veto it again, but then I'm required to defeat it in the third level. So this isn't going to go away. So we'll just put this aside and say, hey, instead, empty the obstacle deck twice. I like that. That's a good start. So this is now going back to the top of the deck, which means it's not going away. It's going to be my problem in the second level. But in the meantime, I need to empty the obstacle deck. So I have to survive. I have to make it through this deck of cards twice to finish the first level. Right. We're set up. We're ready to go. Let's get super hot. All right. Now, okay. I got 3 punches and a dodge. And by the way, like I said, I got a prototype. There's a typo on my card. This is a P1 card. Because actually, if you're playing a 2-player game, the second player gets a similar deck of cards with punches and dodges. But right now I'm playing solo. I'll talk about the multiplayer later. So, on my turn, what I need to do is I can spend these cards to defeat destroy stuff that's in the room that's coming for me. And anything I can't take care of is going to cause problems for me. Although, in this room, it's not so bad. These guys, if I don't take them out, they're at the end of the turn, they're going to shoot. Each one is going to shoot 2 bullets. That means 4 bullets can enter the simulation. As well as, remember, there is already a bullet somewhere in the bottom 10 cards of this deck. It is slowly working its way towards me, and more bullets are going to come if these guys get their shots off. And now that may sound a little weird, bullets slowly moving their way towards me, but that's the fundamental trick of SUPERHOT. The game is that time stands still. If you're not moving, time doesn't move. And when you're playing the video game, that means you can just stand in the middle of a room and look around, and you can see the guys are shooting at you, and you can see there are literally bullets frozen in the air that are coming towards you. And so you can plan, like maybe with a planning card, you can plan and decide, oh, I see a bullet coming at me. All right, if I move to the left, because remember, as soon as you start moving, everything starts moving. So if I move to the left, I can dodge that bullet, and then over to the left, there is a bottle that I can pick up and throw at the guy. And if I hit the guy, I can snag his shotgun and stuff like that. That's how the video game works. It's really very, very cool. And this is how the card game works, because this is the board. Everything's frozen. I can see there's 2 guys getting ready to shoot. I can see there's a pair of pliers. I can see there's a pillar that I could go and try to hide behind. There's a safe space I could hide behind. There's a table. I could flip the table to protect me. And so I have to decide, how am I going to move? What am I going to do? Because I've got these 4 cards. Now, cards have 2 halves. The top half is what you pay attention to when it's in your hand. These 3 punches and dodge mean I have 3 attack and 1 dodge resource to spend. When cards are out here in the room, you don't pay attention to the top, you pay attention to the bottom, because this tells you how much it costs to buy them. If I want to defeat this pillar card so that it goes into my hand so that I will be able to use it in a future turn to plan, I need to spend 3 dodge. I have to dodge over to get behind the pillar. Now, of course, I don't have 3 dodge, so I am not going to be getting to this pillar this turn. To flip the table, I have to spend 2 attack, and then I'll flip the table, I'll get this, and then in a future turn, I'll have 2 dodge, because effectively I'm hiding behind the table that I flipped. The pliers, this is interesting, it's a safe space. If I get to the safe space, I'll find some pliers. To get to the safe space, I need to spend 4 resources. It can be any combination of attack or dodge. So, I've got 4. So I could head to the safe space, which means this card will come directly into my hand, and I'll have it available to me in the next round. And what does that mean? Well, I'll get pliers, which means I can heal a bullet from my hand. I can literally use the pliers and pull it out of me, or I can draw a card. So that means in the next round, I'll have more cards than normal to deal with stuff. Let's see, now unfortunately, I'd like to take out these shotgun guys, but as you can see, they require 5. And 5 of either type, I can't. So these shotgun guys are going to get some shots off on me. Well, not necessarily. There are 2 ways you can deal with bad guys. You can spend the resources needed to destroy them, and then they come directly into your hand, or you can play cards to avoid them. Stuff that's to the right of the line represents stuff that's closer to me in the room. These are things that are so close, I can avoid them by playing cards, which means the stuff that's over to the left I'm going to have to deal with. This guy, I'm probably going to be able to avoid this guy, but this guy's going to shoot at me. So how do you avoid things? Well, it comes back to the cards. I can play cards to basically buy these and put them in my hand, but for every card I successfully play, I avoid one of the guys on the right side of the room. So for instance, what am I going to do? Let's see. Well, I think I want those pliers, because that'll give me an extra, I'll draw a card in the next round. So I am going to play all 4 cards. Right, when you play cards, you put them over here in the played cards section. So this gives me 4 resources to spend. Now, I'm going to spend all 4 of them to get to the safe space. That means when I deal with this card immediately, or I destroy the card, it's called, but that's just a naming convention. It comes over here. And now, if I had any more resources to spend, if I had a couple more, I could flip the table. It would come over here and go into my hand. But I have spent everything on this 1 card. So I have no more left over. Right. So after I'm done playing cards and destroying cards from the line, I then refill my hand. Any card I was able to destroy comes into my hand, and then after that I fill back up to 4, 2, 3, 4. All right, so next turn, I'm going to have 2 dodges, 1 punch, and the ability to draw 1 more card. So this is going to be my hand for next round. So first, you refill your hand. Then you count how many cards you successfully played. I played 4 cards. That means, and you can line them up like this, I have successfully avoided these 4 cards. So I've successfully avoided these 4 cards. That means all of these cards aren't going to bother me, and the only thing that's left is going to be this shotgun guy who's going to shoot. Here's a problem, though. Because I've avoided these 4 cards, I have avoided the pillar, which means at the end of the turn, I don't get to use the pillar's special ability of drawing an extra card. So if I'd only played... okay, let's just actually look at this, because right off the bat, this is a good example of the interesting strategy that involves. Right, I want to play all 4 of these because that'll get me to the safe space where I'll find some pliers for next round. That's great. But that means I avoid the pillar and I lose the chance. Now instead, let's say I only play 2 cards. Right? So I play punch and punch. That gives me enough to flip the table. And so the flip the table will come out. And so I'm not going to play these other cards. I'm going to keep them in my hand. That means I'll flip the table. It'll come into my hand. I'll refill. I fill up to 4. And so now going into the next round, I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 resources, which is enough to take care of the shotgun guy in the next round. And because I've only played 2 cards, I'm only going to avoid these 2 spaces. Now, this space is empty because I wiped it out, so that doesn't really matter. But I'm avoiding this shotgun guy. So what happens is, after I've refilled my hand, everything I avoided goes into my discard pile. So, the stuff I destroy goes directly into my hand. The stuff I avoid goes into my discard pile. I'll be able to get that later. This was a blank space. The cards I've played, they don't go into my discard pile. They go into the discard pile for the room. So everything I use becomes something that will affect me later. I use these punches, and by doing that, that means later on 2 unarmed guys are going to spawn in this room. Meanwhile, I avoided this shotgun guy, which means later on, I'm going to get a shotgun. I'm going to find a shotgun later on. But the stuff you take out immediately goes directly in your hand. So the trick is you play your cards, buy whatever resources you're going to do. After you're done with that, you refill your hand with the stuff you destroyed, plus you fill back up. Then the cards you played let you avoid stuff that goes into your discard pile. And then the cards you play go into the room's discard pile, and then everything else slides over, and all of these cards are going to trigger. Safe space, nothing happens. Pillar. So the pillar, I didn't avoid it, I didn't destroy it, so it's stuck around. That means at the end of the turn, I get to draw another card. So while it may have seemed obvious at first that, yeah, I should have grabbed the really powerful card, instead, by grabbing the lesser card, I've got even more cards in my hand because I left that pillar around and I hid behind it to draw another card. The safe space stays here, but here's the problem. Guy with shotgun at the end of the turn shoots 2. So 2 more bullets are coming out. They go into the discard pile, which means the shots have been fired, but they're not going to show up for a while because everything in this game kind of happens in slow motion. And if I'm not moving, stuff isn't moving. Now remember, there's a bullet near the bottom of this deck. There are now 2 more bullets that are coming my way. I know they're coming, and the only way for me to deal with bullets is to dodge them. I need 2 dodge, or instead to completely destroy them by slicing them out of the air with a katana, which is awesome. Hopefully I'll get to show you guys that. So anyway, so the stuff slid over, everybody activated, and now the room refills. Hey, there's another table to hide behind, and a guy with a gun. And now we are ready for round 2. But going into round 2, I've got a hand of 5 cards, so I'm feeling pretty good about this. Now, what am I going to do? Well, I don't want this shotgun guy to fire again. Remember, I need 5 of any combination of attack or dodging to take that shotgun guy out. Although remember, there are 2 ways for me to take him out. I can spend the resources, which means he'll come directly into my hand, or if I just play enough cards, he will get avoided and he'll go into my discard pile and I'll get him later. So, if I were to play all 5 of these cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and none of these cards have any special powers, that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total resources. Now, you can only play a card if you can spend those resources. I can't just play this to get it out of my hand. I have to be able to spend. So if I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, That means I could spend 5 of it on this shotgun, but the one that I didn't spend on the shotgun, I can't play that because there's nothing that costs 1. So that means if I want to take out this shotgun guy with 2, 3, 4, 5, let's say, then I'll spend all 5 of that to take out the shotgun guy. This I can't place because I can't buy anything with a single card. That means I will have played 4 cards. I'll have blown up this shotgun, and these 3 cards will have been skipped. I'll skip past these cards. And Mr. Gun over here will take a shot at me and put another bullet in the bullet deck. So that's not great. So I don't think it makes sense for me to directly attack the shotgun guy, because if I play enough cards, I'll get rid of the shotgun guy. I should take care of the gun guy and just run past the shotgun guy and actually destroy the gun guy. So that means, but to take out the gun guy, I need specifically to attack. So for starters, I'm definitely going to play 2 punch, which means I'm going to take out the gun guy. And now that means I've played 2 cards, so these 2 are going to get passed up. I need to play 2 more cards so I can skip past shotgun guy. Can I do it? Yes, I can. Because I played these 2 to get this. I'll play all this. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 more. That's enough to get the pliers. So these come out as well. And so I have actually played all 5 of my cards, and that gave me gun. And so now, after I'm done, I refill my hand. These go directly into my hand. So I destroyed the gun guy, and I took his gun. If you've ever seen the video game, it's really awesome the way that works. And I've also hidden in a safe space where, hey, I found some pliers. And then I refill my hand. I've got another dodge card and a punch card, and now my deck is empty. And now, after I've done that, I see, look at this. I played 5 cards. I destroyed this guy. I avoided all of these. So shotgun guy did not get a shot off. All of these go into my discard pile. All of these go into the discard pile for the room. And hey, for a brief shining moment, I've completely emptied out the room. Although there's never a moment's rest because the room refills. And hey, here's a guy with a gun. Here's flipping the table, another table to flip. A secret plan. If I find the briefcase, I can get a secret plan. Guy with katana is coming. If I can get that katana, remember, a bullet's coming. I want that katana so I can destroy flying bullets. Another plan, a pillar where I could plan a little bit, and another guy with a gun. Okay, and so I'm moving into the next room, and I've got all this stuff. And once again, how am I going to play? Well, first of all, I'll play these pills. Now, this doesn't give me an opportunity to buy. It would let me heal. If I had ever taken any bullets, when bullets come into my hand, they clog up my hand and limit what I can do because I'm wounded. And if I end up with my hand full of bullets, if I have 4 bullets, I die. Pliers let me pull bullets out and get rid of them. I don't have any bullets right now, so I'm going to play this to draw another card. And my deck is empty, so I'm going to have to reshuffle. And now remember, this is now a deck composed of all the stuff that I have previously avoided that has turned into new opportunities for me. So I'm going to draw another card, and it's pliers. Okay, so I got some more pliers, which means, heck, I could play these and then draw another card. And it's flip the table. All right, so that is 2 defense. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 total resources I could play. I've already played these 2, which means I'm going to avoid this gun guy, and I'm also going to avoid this table, which means I'll go into my discard pile. And so I've got enough to take out guy with katana. But, if I play enough cards, I'll just avoid guy with katana, and instead I should really focus on taking out guy with gun. So how am I going to do that? Well, you know what? If you want to find out, you can hit the little I in the top right corner of the screen and go to the extended playthrough, and I'll keep playing some more Super Hot. Or you can go to Final Thoughts and hear what we thought, and also hear some about the 2-player gameplay. Your choice in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.